Good evening, lovely tubers. Welcome to Autumn's Allure. My name is the White Mexican, and welcome to Market Watch Investments, the series where we show you how to make bones. Getting things kickstarted tonight is going to be made to order Mermaid Outfitter. This card is extremely affordable right now. It has been ever since its dawning in Photon Hypernova. There isn't really a place for this card in the meta as of yet, but I think there will come a time where this card will be a good side option. Looking at bulk prices for first editions, they're well under a bone here for multiple stacks. Somehow this person has heavily played. This card's like brand new. I don't know how they have heavily played here, but it's crazy. Like, there's like mod play, there's like heavily played, and then there's like a fat stack here for that's just so crazy to me. Anyway, so there's availability for this. They're just smaller stacks. Again, I just wanted to put a frame of reference. This card has super cool artwork for one, like pro artwork, and I think that this is going to be really good side card moving forward. Obviously not right now, but it's really good for formats where everyone's playing a lot of the same decks and you can capitalize on your opponent's resources for your own. Moving on is going to be Yugioh. So shortly here we're going to have Phantom Nightmare, the new next core set, dropping. There is Yugioh support, and all across the board Yugioh is worth relatively good money. Obviously the highest rarity print being the secret rare variants out of Legendary Collection 2. Phantom Darkness super rares. There might even be an ultimate rare. Maybe I'm thinking of the other supporting cards. I'm not sure. But if you guys have any variants of this, even the rare apparently from Raw Yellow Mega Pack is like between 10 to 20 bones, which is pretty incredible. So the deck looks kind of interesting. The support looks actually kind of good, and the artwork is super cool. I don't know if this is like a long-standing fan favorite deck from like a long time ago. I wasn't in the game when the whole Yugioh Gen 1 cards dawned, so I'm not really sure, but really cool artwork. New support does look pretty colorful, and this is definitely a quick sell if people are buying this. It's good money with the hype of the new cards. Next is going to be Stardust Dragon. So here we have the Starlight Rare variant of Stardust Dragon, dawning out of Dawn of Majesty as the core set. This is an extremely fat priced card. Starting market price for a first edition near mint is over 400 bones starting market price. Some really cool Euro English. I love myself some Euro English personally. For just a fraction more here, fat 9 stack. Insanely expensive. A very, very valuable card per se. Who is buying this? Well, you can see there's a couple sales here from just this month. Insane. Very, very expensive. Now, my question to you is, this card is 400 plus for the Starlight, variants from the core set. Then we have the 25th quarter century secret rares that dawned out of the tins from last year as promo cards. My question is, and I feel like I can argue very persuasively, that the quarter century secret rares aesthetically, from pure aesthetics, not necessarily collectability, but for aesthetics, is superior to the Starlight Rare. I understand that some people have preference. Maybe some people do think that the Starlight Rare is aesthetically more pleasing than the 25th quarter century. But you also have to keep in mind that the 25th quarter century tin promo for bulk stacks starting market price here is 7 bones. A mere morsel portion of the Starlight Rare. And in my personal opinion, it looks aesthetically superior. Again, that's just my own white Mexican theory. That's just my own personal preference. But why in the hell would you spend so much more when you can cop essentially the same thing for insanely less investment value. But I understand people want, it is technically a different rarity, Starlight versus 25th Quarter Century Secret Rare. This came out first. It's older, more collectible, harder to get, more value. That's just insane to me, though. It also is insane to me because these aren't even the best variants. Everyone knows that there are, first edition ghost variants of Stardust. I personally, just recently, actually, in December, parted ways with my ghost rare Stardust Dragons. I had a playset. They were unlimited, and that was one of the major factors that got me to get rid of them. I do not want to hold ghost rare variants of Stardust Dragon. With all the crazy reprints that are going on, I personally don't believe that it's smart to hold on to a lot of these really crazy high rarity cards. I think you're pretty safe with quarter century secret rares, just because Konami is printing them left and right, and for the most part that's a pretty neutral high rarity. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's hard to get per se, obviously not so much for the tin promos, but for, let's say, like the Rarity Collection 1 and potentially the Rarity Collection 2 that's going to be dropping later this year. I think it's a neutral ground of aesthetically pleasing high rarity, and the dollar amount isn't too substantial, so it's relatively easy to obtain. It looks, again, aesthetically great, and it's a really good middle ground. So I personally got rid of my Ghost Rare Stardust Dragons. If I had first edition Ghost Rares, that would have been a different story, but again, with all the heavy reprints, I could see a lot of people selling a lot of their high rarity stuffs. Now, the counterploy to that, of course, is the Ultimate Rare variants, dawning from the same core set, the original Duelist Genesis. Now, I personally think that for the first editions exclusively, this is the best rarity, not necessarily to invest in. If you want par for par value in bulk quantity, it goes without saying that the 25th Quarter Century Secret Tin promos, 7 bones, is incredible. You can cop plenty of these, no problem. They look great, they play great, and they're bound to go up in value eventually. By how much, time will tell. But the Ultimate Rares, and Ultimate Rares in general, and you got to understand the time period. We're talking about, I don't know if it, I want to say 5Ds. I believe CSOC and the Duelist Genesis were 5Ds era, I believe. I think it was GX and then 5Ds. I didn't watch the anime, so I'm not, quite in tune with the, the histories of it, but you can't really replicate this era, like this, like 2008-ish era of Ultimate Rares. The print quality was phenomenal. The card stock was a little flimsy for some cards, but the quality of the Ultimate Rares from these core sets in 2008, around this Duelist Genesis, Crossroads of Chaos era of Yu-Gi-Oh, Light of Destruction, Phantom Darkness, these blowout, infamously historical sets are just unparalleled. They're incredible. Nothing comes on par. The Ghost Rares look nice, but again, with all these Ghosts from the Trash sets coming out and rebounding with all the makeshift Starlight Rares, making the 25th Quarter Century Rares, it's a scary hold for the Ghost Rares, especially for the first editions, because they're bound to lose value when Konami eventually potentially decides to make more Ghost Rares and produce them in great quantities. But I think you're relatively safe, very safe, with the first edition exclusive original print Ultimate Rares. They look great, they play great. It was an infamous time period for Ultimate Rares, and Konami can't really, again, they can't replicate this. Yes, we get Ultimate Rares in the OTS packs, but the quality from those, for the majority of the Ultimate Rares, not every, I think whatever the OTS was that had the different variants of Sprite Blue, Fenrir, and the Tier Elements, a Rhino Hart card, for the deeply embedded spiral variants, deeply embedded spiral hollow foils for the ultimates. Those look phenomenal. Those look gorgeous. A little bit flimsy on the cardstock, but again, I think that cardstock quality has just been declining as this game gets older because, unfortunately, they're trying to cut corners, which I understand from a business standpoint, but still, like, there's a time and a place to cut corners. I don't think kind of reducing the cardstock formula is really the corner cutting that should be done. But again, I'm not a Konami CEO executive or anything like that. So this is really good. I think this is really, really good. These are pretty much almost bought out on the market. These have exponentially increased in value. Any variant, again, go first edition. If you're going to go Alti original core set, you have to go first edition. There's just no way around it. In my personal opinion, I wouldn't touch unlimited Altis with a 13-foot stick. But you can see here the market is very, very sharp. I think it's fine if you guys are, want to go do big flex and you want to play with this. I think moderately played is fine. Me personally, of late, I've been investing like crazy in high rarity for mod play exclusively. First editions, of course, but for mod play, I think mod play, lightly played mod play, but more specifically mod play to reduce the cost of collecting high rarity for playability purposes. Obviously, you're not going to get a moderately played one if you're going to slab this, or it's for collectability purposes. You're going to want to go for LP, more specifically, very light played near mint. But for playability purposes and to throw a flex on, this is where you want to be. Mod play, first edition, ultimate rare. Starting market price is just a phantom under 5 bills. We can see there's one here for $3.49, then quickly jumps to a phantom under 5 bills after that. So very, very expensive, but again, this is not going to be repeated. You're not really going to get to find a nicer variant than this, in my personal opinion, specifically for this iconic card. That was a little overrun, but I really wanted to drive that point home because I feel really passionately about kind of these algorithms and breaking down the different rarities and maintaining long-term value and just kind of making the best tactical decisions with your dollar amounts on these cards. Next is going to be Black Rose Dragon. So Lightning Overdrive. Again, the Starlight rares versus the Quarter Century rares. And these fetch a fine price as well. Near mint first edition copies, starting on the market value, is going to be 250 bones, and it just articulates more value as you continue to go on. So pretty fat price point, yeah? Let's check out the 25th Quarter Century secret rares from the tins last year, which were, of course, tin promos. These, again, just like Stardust Dragon, in my personal opinion, are aesthetically more pleasing, in my opinion. And I know everyone may not agree with that, but I mean, let's get real, ladies and gentlemen. Are you going to spend 250 bones or are you going to pay? There's bulk prices here. Starting market price is 5 bones, not even 5 bones. A phantom under 5 bones. They got fat stacks. There's a fat stack of 53 right here. Near mint under 5 bones, 5 a pop. For essentially the same thing, if not better. Aesthetically, specifically for aesthetically, obviously not for collectability, for aesthetically. I think that you guys should go for this one personally. You don't have to go crazy. You don't have to get like 18 of these. I think investing 15 bones, getting a playset of the tin variant of Black Rose and a tin variant of whatever it is, I guess 21 bones, or yeah, 24 bones of tin Stardust, and you're squared away. You're good to go. Again, I'm not gonna go too far into it. That's just my personal belief. And again, nothing is going to beat, just like Stardust, nothing is going to beat the ultimate rares, specifically exclusively for the first editions. They're aesthetically amazing. They're great for playability purposes. Again, if you're gonna go for playability, definitely invest in a mod play so you can save some money up front. Make sure it's first edition, though, because you're still trying to flex. If you're going to flex with the Ultimate Rare Original CSOC, get first edition. And this won't be replicated. You are going to be safe. I feel that Konami is never, unfortunately, never really going to have or invest the caliber or quality into the card print to really bring back this 2000 era, very flashy, very deeply embedded, ultimate rare holo coils type of card quality ever again. I understand that just like Stardust, there's, you know, first edition Ghost variants, which look gorgeous. They're just amazingly gorgeous. I know, like I said, I used to have an unlimited set of Ghost Stardust, but it's easier for Konami to remanufacture Ghost Rares than it is these old school, good quality, aesthetically pleasing Ultimate Rares. So just like Stardust, this has increased insanely. I mean, this is pretty much the starting market price for any first edition copy is going to be a lightly played, and that's going to be just a Phantom under 500 bones. So we're talking about a half K starting market price for these Ultimate Rare first editions. Very expensive, but again, if you guys are, you know, high caliber investors and you want something that is going to maintain value and something that's going to just play right, look nice, and maintain value, and has great potential long term, and is going to be relatively sheltered from all these massed fire cannons of reprints, the Ultimate Rare is going to be where you want to go. Max C is next. So again, I talk about this card a lot just because my personal theory is with this card, with many cards on the ban list, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And regardless how unpopular this opinion is or how popular it may be with certain players, I personally do believe, my own opinion, that Maxi will come back eventually. And when it does, there is going to be some initial front end value for those who have stocked up on this card. Obviously, when it comes back, it's going to be reprinted to hell. It's probably going to have a billion more reprints. But up front, if you invested right and don't, you know, overinvest, because regardless of how long that this has been banned, forbidden, it's still very, very pricey. It's a very, very pricey card to invest in. I mean, even look at the commons. Running commons starts at around 13 bones. There's this disgusting, hideous gold rare that's well over 10 bones. Even the 2012 tin super promos, which are just ancient. My goodness, can you believe that this was 12 years ago now? Are sitting at, you know, a Phantom under a 20 bill. Incredible. So don't go overboard on this. If you guys get the homie discount and you're picking up some collections or you're picking up some singles, pay 75% for these. I personally would either go exclusively for the 10 super rares, and I think a fair price for an investor to pick this up on is going to be about 10 bones. Ideally 5, but it's going to be very, very, very difficult for you to pinch a sale at 5. Maybe if you're buying like tons and tons and tons of them and people just really don't care about them, and just you have those people that are under a rock believing that this is never going to come back and they just don't care about it. Their loss on value, scoop them up from them. If you're going to go first edition, only go for, if you're going to go secret rare, I apologize, only go for the first edition exclusively. Do not, and I repeat, do not invest in unlimited secret rares. They'll proc value, you'll be able to sell them, they'll still be a good dollar amount, but if you can get a good deal on the secrets and you're going to go full on secret rare original prints, get first editions exclusively. I promise you, you won't regret it. Or just buy more, bulk up on the super rares. They're a lot more affordable, and you can buy more and you can sell more. It's a numbers game for these investment factors. You got to think about these things. I know that there is an ultimate rare. It's obscenely expensive. It's like $500,000, and it looks pretty nice aesthetically, and it's very collectible and all that. Completely out the window for investing value. Way too expensive, and it's been expensive for quite some time. And personally, again, like if you like to throw down a flex, I think, you know, it'd be nice to have them, but it's like the same thing. Me personally, I have a playset of ultimate rare Duels. I don't play those. I opt to play the super rares because I think, well, one, the ultimate rares, they don't look very, very good. They look almost like makeshift ultra rares, which aesthetically I really, really don't like. Could just be the sleeves that I have them in, but They're in a binder. They have not been in a deck, at least since my ownership took over. But the Ultimate Rares are just, they're unattainable right now. They're just at a price point. Like, if you have them, hold on to them and fire sale them when this card gets unbanned, because you're going to make a huge amount of profit depending on how much you initially invested in the alties. But the name of the game is the super rares and the first edition secret rares for investing purposes. But you can't pay market value. You're going to have to get a percentage cut, because paying full price for this is suicide from an investment standpoint. Next is going to be Tier Elements Rhino Hart. So again, this blue and Fenrir are some of the most aesthetically gorgeous ultimate rares that Konami has pushed out from the OTS packs. But keep in mind, you have to be very, very careful, because there are two different variants. There's these like faded, dull variants that look like utter dog shit, and they're just useless. They look so ugly. Then on the contrary, you have the very, very deep coral spiral coils, like heavily embedded, completely blowout aesthetically variants, all from the same set, but two completely different. I just can't explain it. If you guys know, you guys know. I don't really know how else to explain it, but there is 100% two different variants of the Ultimates from this OTS pack. Make sure you get the spiral deep embedded hollow foil ones, because the other ones are just look god awful. This is insanely affordable. There is a stack here for under 11 bones, which is incredible, and then it starts to articulate. I mean, anything under 20 bones I think is insane for an ultimate variant of a card of this caliber from a fan favorite deck with some really infamous history. But the risk of it is you don't know which variant is it. Is it the dull, faded, shitty, crappy one, or is it the nice spiral, deep embedded hollow foil? You don't know. So maybe go to eBay for this. I don't know if eBay prices usually tend to be a little bit more expensive than TCG Player, but if you're able to get these in person in a trade, or get the homie discount, you know, cop that 75%, or you don't even really need to cop the 75%. I mean, 11 bones for this, if it's the right variant, the good hollow foil variant, is just a steal. Definitely take this into consideration, and this is an incredible price point for this card. Just make sure you have the right print variant. Sky Striker Ace Aelia is going to be next. So still to the date, not too old of a set here, but still a solo print secret rare, Dawning out of Battles of Legends, Monstrous Revenge. This has seen some pretty interesting fluctuation in market value. Right now it's sitting at roughly about 11 bones starting market price for this card. If you have several of these, I would keep one. I don't think you need more than one, maybe two. This card is good outside of just even pure Sky Striker builds. It's a very good, relatively somewhat, I mean, it's light and dark specific, but still. It is a Link 2. Link 2 has some of the highest utility in the game, in my personal opinion. Really cool effect. Pretty cool artwork. And, yeah, keep one. I would have one on hand, you know, in your side utility binder. But if you have excess, I would definitely sell and just, you know, this card is eventually going to get a reprint. I don't know when, but it will. So now's a good time, I think, to sell your excess of that card. Runic Fountain is going to be next. So two variants, the original Ultras from Tactical Masters and the last year's Megatins. Let's take a look at the original prints first. Now, my personal theory when it comes to deciding on which variant print to invest in breaks into multiple factors. The benefits of investing in the original prints, because I feel like it's a popular belief that for the majority of players and investors, they like original print because original print tends to be, for the most part, the higher rarity. When I say higher rarity, I mean higher rarity hierarchy-wise. This case specifically for Fountain is backwards because the original print was an ultra rare when the reprint from the tins was a prismatic secret. So hierarchy rarity wise, the reprint is higher than the original print. But then you got to keep in mind that original print is held at a higher standard than reprints, even if it's a higher rarity sometimes. So it's all to be factored in. I hope you guys understood that. That sounded kind of crazy. But so again, the benefit with this is it's the original print. It's the very first print run that we had here, being from the subset. I wanted to take a look at stacks specifically because this is something that if you're going to invest in this card, you want to invest in bulk buys. It's incredibly affordable. The first stack of 4 here is under 2 bones. You can factor in the shipping here, and then it jumps to 3 after that. Insanely affordable. I think anything under 2 bones, roughly around 2-3 bones for this, is phenomenal, more specifically for the 2 bone range. Added benefit, it's the original variant. There is also, it is technically the original variant. I forgot to mention there also is a collector's rare. I'm not going to be reviewing the collector's rare specifically in this market watch, but just be aware there is a collector's rare variant. Obviously, you're going to have to push out more funds to invest in that one, but it is technically, well, not technically, hierarchy rarity. It is the highest rarity. So my personal style is I would much rather invest in bulk buys and copiers of higher rarities, mid-range to higher, lower to mid-range rarities of a card, and have more to sell than have like just one single playset of the collector's rare. That's just kind of my personal style. So the downside of investing in the original print is it's ultra rare, and that is, there's just nothing else really needs to be said about that. Alternatively, you have the Tin Prismatic Secrets, which I think look gorgeous aesthetically. I think aesthetically they blow out the ultra rares in every manner. They are technically rarity hierarchy higher than the original prints as ultra rares, but lower than the collector's rares. They are also more affordable than the first edition ultra rares. We're looking at bulk stacks of the Prismatic Secrets first editions, and they don't even hit the 2 bone mark. There's a fat stack of 70 right here for a 120 near mint first edition. In my personal opinion, White Mexican Theory, I would much rather invest in more of the Prismatic Tin Secrets than the original Ultras. You can get more for a smaller dollar amount. It's a higher rarity. It looks aesthetically more pleasing than the shitty ultra rares, and you have more to push when this card goes up. And I do believe that the Runic engine is not going away. I think that it is an engine that is going to be splashed and mixed and blended and used for years to come in this game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just the same is Mystic Mine. We all know Mystic Mine is forbidden. It's banned. Time will tell when this will come off the ban list. Again, just like Max C, I'm an avid believer and more so unfortunate for this card. I want Max C to come back. I do not want Mystic Mine to come back. However, I'm not so naive to believe that this card won't come back. I do believe that with the ban list, it's a matter of if, a matter of when, not if, something comes off the list. It may get errated, it may not, it may take 10 years to come off the list, it may take longer, it may be sooner. But I believe that everything comes off the list, and Mystic Mine, unfortunately, is no exception. Now, let me just be point blank here. I completely despise this card. I think this card is atrocious, and I utterly hate it in every sense and form. I will make money off it, though, because when this does come back, I'm going to have a lot of copies, and I'm going to sell them. Don't worry about this. This is just utter garbage. This is peasant fodder. This doesn't even exist. But for the supers and the Prismatic Secrets, this is what we're going to look at today. Now, just like Runic Fountain, the benefit of the Dark Neostorm Super Rare First Editions exclusively is that they're original print. The downside is that they're also older than the 2020 Prismatic Secret reprints. The downside is they are hierarchy rarity-wise, they are lower than the Prismatic Secrets, but then again, they have that added benefit that they're the original prints. They're older. technically maybe somewhat harder to get. That's kind of a bold statement as coming from Megaton reprints, because Megaton reprints are relatively easily accessible. But let's just go ahead and let's take a look at the original Dark Neostone first editions. Now, these are a little bit more closer in price compared to the fountains, so I don't think it matters too much which one that you guys go for. Again, if my rule of thumb is if it's anything over a $2 break point, if you like, if say like the supers are like 2 bones and the secrets are like 5 bones, get the supers. Like, hell yeah, get the supers. Save the money up front, get more of the supers, proc more profit later, per se. That's just kind of my style. There's a couple small sets here for a bone. There is a fatter stack here at 24 for under 2 bones. And then it goes to about a little bit over 2 after that. So not as many big stacks as I initially, thought there would have been. Dark Neostorm is kind of getting up there in age now, so kind of makes sense. So those are under a bone for bulk buy. Let's take a look at the prismatic tin reprints. These are significantly more expensive. I mean, you're going to be procking 3 to 4 bones starting market price for stacks for the prismatic tin reprints. This is the instant where, again, these are newer, somewhat technically easier to get because it's a newer set per se. Higher rarity and hierarchy, but more expensive up front. Just go for the supers. In my personal opinion, I'm going to be going for the supers. When the secrets drop down to like 2 bones, if you can get these for 2 bones or under, get the prismatic secrets for first editions exclusively, obviously. Just the same, get first edition exclusively for the supers, but they're just so much more cheaper. So proc profit and go for bulk buys on the supers. Bestial Magma Hut is going to be next. This card, pay attention to this one because this is one of the MVPs of this market watch. I think this card is insanely undervalued. Yes, I'm aware it's limited to 1 on the list. It is not going to stay at 1 forever. I promise you that. This card may or may not get errated. It more than likely won't. This game is full of extremely powerhouse cards, and this is a very, very powerful card, hence why it's at 1 right now. This card it's just an all-around amazing card. It has great artwork, it has great utility, great flexibility, great range, and it comes in some really great rarities. It does not come in ultra rare, so that is a plus. Now, again, you have to determine which one that you're going to go for, or you can kind of just go for both variants depending on the price values when you decide to invest. Personally, aesthetically, I like the super rares more because, again, I'm very much more of a fan of investing in original first edition, original print. Darkwing Blast, obviously, this was a solo print for quite some time. You could only get it from Darkwing Blast, and this used to be like an $18, $20 super rare for quite some time. It was extremely popular, and it's just an all-around, again, just like amazing card. I personally am opting to invest in the original first edition super rares. However, the secret rare prismatics do look very, very gorgeous as well. I don't think they look quite as good as the supers, but I definitely appreciate a nice prismatic card like Magma Hut. We're going to go ahead and take a look at bulk prices for this because this is 100% an investment that you guys want to invest in bulk buys. So not even two bones here. There's a fat stack of 69 here for under 2 bones near mint first edition. Under 2 bones here for a fat stack of 188. So plenty to choose from. Not even 2 bones. Incredible. Definitely cop some of those. And in its own right, let's go ahead and look at the Dabble first edition supers. Again, specifically, I don't even think Dabble came unlimited anyway, so you shouldn't have to worry about that. Roughly about the same. Actually, it looks like the supers are fetching just, a couple cents on the dollar, a little bit more. There's a stack of 25 here for 180. Near mint first edition. Lovely. Perfect. All around, amazing investment. Get on this. This is insane. This is incredible. The investment is endless with this card, so feel to pull the trigger Now is the time. Scareclaw Tri-Heart is going to be next. I don't know if you guys know this, but this card is generic. You don't have to be running Scareclaw monsters, or even the deck at that, to run this card, which is just insane. If you guys read this card is extremely powerful. The secret weapon behind this, again, emphasis is it's not deck specific. The link requirements, being a link 3, is 3 effect monsters. That's it. And because of this effect right here and this other effect right here, this is just an insane control card. Really cool artwork too. Now, again, the factor for debate is, do you go for the original standard secret Diffo first original prints, or do you go for the 10 prismatic reprints? Now, luckily for at least this instant in the market, the original prints are insanely affordable. Looking at stacks for the original Diffo first edition secrets, near first edition, there's a stack of 4 here, not even a bone. Another stack here of 5 Lily Plate first edition, a bone. Another stack right here of 10, 1.5 bones. Insanely affordable. This is crazy. You guys need to get at least 3 play sets of this, in my personal opinion. For $1, this is just insane. Just the same. Now again, because the original print is so affordable, they're literally a bone and under a bone, just go for the original print. You can, if this goes up, if this grows on and catches popularity and it starts to go up to $2, $3, $5, $6, whatever, and naturally the prismatic will follow in its course, just then maybe switch over to when the tide shift, and then the reprint is the one that's $1, then go for that one. But right now the original print is just so insanely affordable, you can go strictly for the original print. I understand that this is prismatic and it's a different rarity. Some players prefer prismatic. I personally think prismatic looks gorgeous because it reminds me of old school video game promos back in like Gen 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! That was the only way we got prismatic in the TCG. So I like that. But in the long term and the overall smarter investment, in my personal opinion, is to go for, when it's cost effective, with the right timing, the original print core sets. Just the same with Psychic and Punisher. This card is insane. Obviously, the Punk Gold Pride really drew this card to predominance. This card is an insane, relatively generic. I'm pretty sure that it's a generic synchro. I forget what the requirements are, but this card has an insane effect. If you guys haven't read this card, or if you don't know what it does, pause the video, read this text right here, and just be blown away. This is a really good card. It is generic. 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner monsters. Really cool artwork, a really blowout card, and for the price, very affordable. Now, this one isn't 1-2 bones like the Scareclaw card, unfortunately. This one's going to fare a couple more bones specifically for the original print. We got a stack of 4 here for 3 bones, then it goes to about 3.5 for this 4, and then it starts to kind of articulate after that. Now, this is a perfect example, with the original print being 3.4 bones, 3.5 bones, and the prismatic 10 reprint being like a bone. This is when I think it would be smart to go for the reprint, because the reprint literally is like 3 times more affordable, more cost effective. Fat stack, not even a bone, near mint first edition. However, I will admit, I personally, because this card is still so affordable, again, the original prints are only 3 bones, I would cop at least 3 or 9 copies of the original, because when this card catches back on and it comes back in a mainstream meta play and articulates value, I do believe that the distance between, for this specific card, not everything in this showcasing, but for this specific card, I do think there's going to be quite a price differential from the original Diffo Secret first compared to the reprint. So just keep that in mind. The same with the Zombie Vampire. The reprint prismatics from last year's tins are like a bone all across the board, whereas the Battles of Chaos, which I believe was a core set if I'm not mistaken, I always get this confused. I always think it's a core set, but I think I get respectfully corrected that I believe it was a core set, are about 5. So the original prints pitch a more upfront investment haul of 5. They're about 5 times as much. Still very affordable. I still think this is a great card. I believe I do have my playset. I know I have at least one. I'm pretty sure that I have a playset of the original first edition Battle of Chaos variants. This card is insanely generic. Level 8s is not that difficult to find in decks. And this card has great artwork. Has a blowout effect. So many decks can use this card as a utility box in their extra deck. So I think I would definitely, for 15 bones, just go ahead and cop a playset now. That's fine. But the bigger investment as far as bulk buying is going to be the 1 bone reprints. Just the same with Zealantis, however you pronounce this. I had to stop and read this card because I didn't really understand what it did at first, and I didn't really see the value. It took me like 2 or 3 reads. I'm kind of slow. It takes me a while to comprehend reading the English sometimes. But I think this card has great utility and it has great effectiveness, and I think that it's going to grow in popularity at some point in the game. I don't know exactly when, but I think it's a great utility card, again, to have in your side binder and your utility binder, whatever have you. The original prints are significantly more expensive than the tin reprints. Again, the tin reprints are fetching for about a bone a piece, whereas the original standard secrets from the core set, which was Dabble, Darkwing Blast, starting market price for bulk prices is going to be about 8 bones, and then quickly increases after that. So this is a perfect example of where the prismatic tin reprints just completely blow the original out for investment value. You can just go ahead, at a bone a piece market price value, a fat stack of 27 here, a bone, 19 stack, near mint first edition, 99 cents. Incredible. This is the one that you're going to want to invest in. This jumps to 3, 4, 5 bones. You've already made 3-5 times your money. So just the same with Muckraker. Again, I personally do like the Dabble original first edition secrets. I'm aware that there was the Sneak Peek Ultras, which go for even more value for some god-awful reason because they're ultra rare and their rightful place is like in someone's campfire. But you have these really, nice secret rares. So for the originals now, and this has fluctuated quite some bit because for a while this card was like 15-20 bones, and then like when it first came out it was like 4-6-8, jumped all the way up to I think as high as like 20, and now it's down again, but it's not quite as down. I think the lowest it used to be was like around 3-4, and that's kind of it's a little bit over that now. Original standard secret Dabbles, Phantom under 5 bones here for the first couple stacks. There's an 11 stack right here for 5 for near mint first edition. And then of course you have the tin prismatic reprints, which don't look bad. They look gorgeous. They're just not going to hold quite as much value as the original print secrets, obviously, for known reasons. And these are actually just a phantom over a bone here. There's a stack of 30, 139, stack of 91 for 142. So again, the ideal investment is going to be the prismatic reprints, but the originals are not too expensive. Again, they're 5 bones. You definitely want to at least get a playset or 3 of those. Ghost Bell, really quick, is insanely affordable. These have been affordable for so long. Rarity Collection completely annihilated prices for a lot of these tin prismatic reprints. These are pretty much a bone to 2 bones and have been for quite some time, even for fat stacks. This is insane. This card looks gorgeous in this rarity. I know there's a lot of crazy rarities of Ghost Bell. It's always coming in and out of the metagame. It's just a forever rotating hand trap, just like many. This is really good. I have several of these. I'm not saying that these are going to shoot up to crazy amounts, but for a bone, 2 bones, for bulk buys, for a prismatic secret, which looks really clean, especially being such a popular card like Bell, is just really good. Just the same as Ghost Ogre. Again, we're just waiting for the format. We're waiting for the rotation. This card will eventually go up. We have the ultimate rares. We have the Cross Souls original first secret rares. We have a lot of crazy rarities of this card. But for the dollar amount, again, this is just so insane. I mean, it's barely holding on to a bone plus value for these stacks. Near mint first edition Prismatic's insane. And this card just looks gorgeous. And it's great for playability purposes. Ash Bossom is going to be next. Can't have a market watch without the infamous Ash. These are the original Maximum Crisis, which was a 2018 set. It's insane to think about that this set is 6 years old now. One of the most infamous hand traps of all time, and these have actually fluctuated quite a bit. So again, I think that mod plays are ideal for playability purposes. They're mod play, they're good enough they're not going to look all messed up in your sleeve, but they're mod play, so they're going to be less front end investment because their condition is worse, but they're perfect for playability purposes, for the first editions exclusively, obviously. So the first mod plays, first editions, are about 14-15 bones for the onesie twosies. I do want to look at bulk stacks again because this is a card that, I understand that there is the quarter century secret rares from Rarity Collection 1, which look nice, but they're too expensive for what they are. Out of all of the Rarity Collection quarter century secrets, Ash and Imperm just hold a really fat price point. I'll admit, I actually just invested in a playset of the quarter century Imperms because they just look aesthetically gorgeous. Probably an unpopular opinion, I think they look aesthetically superior to the OTS Ultimate Rares. That's just because the Ultimate Rare set that Imperm came from, it's kind of mix and match. I didn't think all the prints were made the same, and it comes out a little faded and just kind of shitty quality. And I just think overall that the quarter century secret just takes the W over the Ultimate Rares. I understand the Ultimate Rares are harder to find, they're older. Hierarchy wise, they could technically per se be on a higher level hierarchy wise, being that they are ultimate rares. But you have to keep in mind they are like new gen shitty quality ultimate rares from OTS ultimate rares, which is like my personal opinion. Like OTS ultimate rares are like on the bottom of the barrel. It's the OG ultimate rares like Gen 1 and like GX and if they had them in GX, I can't remember, but 5Ds, those are like the real sought after first edition ultimate rares that are like the best quality. So anyway, I kind of lost track of what I was talking about here. So yeah, Ashes about 25. I've seen these for a while, back when I was in Michigan, back in December last year. These were selling for bulk buys for around 18-17, at least for play sets. So this is articulate a little bit of value, which is fine. It's still very affordable. Again, this card used to be like $100+ card when it was a solo print. So I think this is the best. If you want to flex, if you want to have the best rarity, I know that there's, I think, 3 different secret rare variants of this card now in circulation. This is the really cool rarity to use. This is personally what I use. I personally use Euro English. I have 2 Euro English first edition. I'm getting my 3rd in the mail, so I'll finally have my playset of original Maximum Crisis first edition Euro English, and that aesthetically and flex wise is like what I like to run personally. And again, you don't have to get a near mint. Get a mod played as long as first edition, that you're completely fine for playability purposes. It looks great, plays great, and it's just all around is going to be the best for long term. Really quick, I did want to look at some other variants. If you're not going to go original firsts, I do think that the 2022 tins is, insanely affordable. I made a blunder on this, so I pulled the trigger very heavily when these hit 910s, and I invested in a lot of these, and I actually lost a lot of value because I'm holding on to them. I haven't pushed off too many, but onesies, twos in here I've just traded off, or I've sold, maybe about like 9 or 12 off TCG Player, and I sold them for, I believe, 5 or 6s, and I bought them for 8s or 9s. So it was a profit margin loss, but these do look really, really good, and I don't necessarily regret buying these in bulk buy, because at the time Ash didn't have, it had a lot of reprints, but most of them were common, and this was just an easy access to get a nice, aesthetically pleasing, shiny Ash. Now they're down to about 5. You can see first stacks here is Phantom Under 5 Bones for Near Mint First Edition. This is an incredible buy too. If you don't want to spend the 24 for a bulk buy on the original Maximum Crisis, you can just drop 15 and you can get yourself a playset. No shame in that. I think this is, really, really aesthetically great. Another thing that's interesting, which is kind of a little frustrating, but I absolutely love, I know Rarity Collection printed this card in Super to Hell, but I really, really like the Shadows in Valhalla super rares, and I always have. This is one of the first reprints of Ash. I think it was the secret rare, and then this super rare, I believe. And then I got a couple ultra rares, and then I got the common, and I got a couple commons. Anyway, I don't know, there's something about hand traps in super rare. Like, I'm obsessed. Like, I love hand traps in super rare. I love Droll in super rare. I love Effect Veiler in super rare. I love DD Crow in super rare. Ideally, I'm working towards investing in, original Alti firsts, and there's some hand traps that I opted to get the quarter century secret rares from the Rarity Collection just because they were relatively affordable and they just look aesthetically just gorgeous. Anyway, these are still kind of expensive for what they are, though. This card has been reprinted to shit, and if we look at bulk prices for first edition Shadows of Valhalla Supers, they're still holding a granite standpoint of about 5+. I really, really want to pick these up at 2 bones a pop, and it's just not happening. They went from like 20 to 18 to 15 to 8, and now they're at 5+. So there's not quite there yet, not quite ripe for picking yet, but just to keep an eye for that. Next is going to be Lord of the Heavenly Prison. This card is great in Labyrinth, potentially. It's amazing in Outlich. I'm a huge Outlich fan, so I got to talk about this card. For a while, these reprints, prismatics, they both look aesthetically great. I do personally like the original Secrets more from, I think it was Burst. These reprints used to be like around 2 bones for like mass bulk buy for quite some time. It was insane. They're sitting at about 3+ now, which isn't so great again when they used to be like 2. Still very, very affordable. I mean, not even 10 bones for a playset of secret Heavenly Prisons is insane. So 3 bones for the reprints. Let's quickly take a look at the Burst standard secrets, specifically for bulk buys. It's about 5, so about a 2 bone difference. With only a 2 bone difference, I would personally just go ahead and cop a playset minimum of the originals. Not to say that the prismatics don't look aesthetically pleasing, it's just the price differentiation is so close, you might as well just go for the original prints. Parallel Exceed is going to be next. I'm kind of mixed. I think that I don't have a playset of this. I need to get some. Like, eventually I want to make a video because for several months now I've been building up this thing I call like the ultimate side binder / utility binder, and I want to do a showcasing on it because I've been really spoofing it up the last couple months and really formulating it. But anyway, I want to invest in a playset of this. I think this is a really great utility card just to have or whenever you need it in a deck. And I'm really kind of torn on the Prismatic Secrets or the OTS 14 Super Rares. I really do like OTS Super Rares. But honestly, I think I want to get the Prismatic Secrets just because I just like, they just pop a little bit more. And I don't know, for this card specifically, I'm not always like this, but I like these Prismatics. And they've articulated a little bit more value. They used to be a little bit more affordable, but they're not too bad. I mean, there's a stack of 10 here for not even 3 bones, 2 bones plus. So I think the perfect range is about 2 bones. I wouldn't really try to spend more than 2 bones for the Prismatics, but again, 3 bones is really not that bad. This is all around just a good card to have. So Secret or Prismatic or Super, up to you guys. Okay, so Lightning Storm obviously was part of the Rarity Collection amongst many other staples, and it completely drove the value down for a lot of high rarity stuff. You have the Starlight Rare from the original core set, Ignition Exalt. You have the Pharaoh's Rare from Mavens. And then you have, the makeshift Quarter Century Secret Rare from the Rarity Collection. One thing that I think is silly that I personally don't do is if there is a core set Starlight Rare, I wouldn't invest in a Quarter Century Secret Rare just because it's kind of like a cheap knockoff. It's like a makeshift. It's like literally like having a fake version to a certain extent. I know what I said about the 25th Secret Stardust versus the Starlight from the core set, and the Starlight cross the Black Rose versus the Quarter Century. That's different though, because those are 10 promos, and those are insanely affordable. We're talking about 7-5 bones versus like 20 plus for the Quarter Century from the Rarity Collection. So completely different margins of investment factors. So it's different, and I hope you guys see that. I don't want to sound hypocritical, but it's very, very different. So me personally, I opted, because originally, which are just insanely affordable right now, and they're very aesthetically pleasing, I had a playset of the Prismatic Secrets, first edition Prismatic Secrets from the tins from 2 years ago. Played great, looked great, all around blowout card. So good that it's on the list for 2, and that was fine for a while, but then the Rarity Collection came out, drove all the prices down, and I wanted to upgrade to the original standard Secrets for Ignition and Assault, which were very, very affordable. I think I paid like maybe 18 bones for a playset of first edition standard Secret, and those are the ones that I personally use in my deck. Now, I'm kind of undecided between the original core set first edition Secrets and the Collector's Rare from King's Court. This is kind of a weird, obscure subset that no one really talks about, everyone kind of forgot about, but there are some really cool Collector's Rares from the set, and Lightning Storm is one of them. And out of all the high rarities of this card, I think your best dollar amount, your best dollars are invested in, again, either the standard core set first edition Secrets, because they're just so insanely affordable now, or the King's Court Collector's Rares. These are insanely affordable now. I mean, bulk prices is about 11 bones, and then jumps up to about 15 bones for stacks of Collector's Rares, which look gorgeous. Really, really cool. It's a nice time to be a Yu-Gi-Oh player. The Rarity Collection, I have mixed thoughts on it, but overall, I do appreciate that it drove prices down and that it made cards, expensive cards, utility cards, very, very accessible to the majority body of the player base. Ultimate Slayer is still a solo print. Power of the Elements, remember that set? Pretty blowout. This is still a really good card. Again, just like made to order Mermaid outfitter. Ultimate Slayer is just waiting for the right format and the right types of decks to be in play. I think anything under 20 bones for a pop for a playset of this is incredible. Of course, you have the Starlight rare variant of this, which is, you know, fine. It's fetches a higher price point, but I think you're fine with the standard secret. It's gorgeous. It plays the same. And, you know, no one's going to rag on you for running standard secrets over, you know, dropping all that money for the Starlight rares. There's a couple stacks here. There's this 99-cent shipping, but 15 bones only played first edition, and 18 bones here, 18 bones here. So there's plenty of opportunities to get these for under a 20 bill pop. This is something, again, for your utility / side binder. Put a playset of this card in that. And the last card that I have for you guys tonight is going to be Sprite Blue. Now, keep in mind, just like the Tier Elements monster and Fenrir from this OTS Pack 21, there's two different variants. There's the shitty, faded, crappy one that no one wants, and then there's the very deeply embedded spiral, aesthetically gorgeous one that you do want. Either way, this is insanely affordable. There's a stack of 4 right here for under 20 bones, and it quickly jumps to 25, specifically for the stack of 4. 20 bones for a near mint ultimate rare Sprite Blue. This deck is not going away. Sprite is not done. We don't have Elf, and eventually Elf is going to come back. It might be errated, it might not, but it's coming back. I promise you it's coming back. And even without Elf, this card is a power. This deck is a powerhouse deck. It's a fan favorite, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. It may not always take the top tables, but people are gonna forever play Sprite. And again, just be careful because you can't tell. Obviously, this listing doesn't have photos, so you can't tell. You might have to, like, this is more just to kind of get it in your head, getting the gears turning in your head. That, you know, if you find these in people's trade binders, or you go to a regionals, or you go to a bigger echelon event and people have these and they're the nice, good rarity of this, the right print, you know, get that 75% homie discount, or, you know, try to wheel and deal, whatever it may be. This is a phenomenal price point to pick up this card if you don't have your playset. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I hope you guys are making some fantastic Yu-Gi-Oh investments yourself. This has been a showcasing by Autumn's Allure. My name is the White Mexican, and I will see you in the next video.